Hello and welcome back to the Trainerize YouTube channel. This video is especially exciting because we're joined by 3 trainers who are absolutely excelling in the online fitness world and blowing up their businesses on social media. Sarah Holden is an online trainer who has grown her following to over 150,000 followers since the pandemic began. Our second guest, Quan Bailey, has also been using social media to build an account with almost 30,000 followers and built an incredible client base. Finally, Michelle Riley earns over $10,000 per month as an online personal trainer with only 1,500 followers. So no matter what size of following you have, these coaches are going to share tips on using social media to create a thriving online business. I want to ask you guys some takeaways for the coaches, trainers, fitness business owners at home when it comes to marketing social media and Instagram specifically. So when it comes to daily habits that coaches should have, what would you say people should be practicing daily, practicing weekly, and practicing monthly in terms of producing content or planning strategy? How should they break down these habits and goals, and what should they be focusing on in your opinion?
Sure. So what I do, and it's what really helps me a lot, is keep organized and make sure that I'm being kind of like what Con said, consistent, is I have my own content calendar. So I break that content calendar down daily, weekly, and monthly. So for instance, in a day, I make it a goal to have at least 5 Instagram stories, post in my closed Facebook group, post in Instagram, have that daily breakdown right there. So I'm continuing to be consistent in my own presence. And then weekly is kind of like, I'll do like blasts, like email weekly blog blasts and stuff like that. I know that probably doesn't have to do too much with like the social media stuff. That's just something that I do weekly in order to have another touch point. And then monthly, I make sure that I have these content calendars kind of broken down, but I'm also looking at my stats monthly of those contents that I've created, and making sure that I'm tracking who's viewing what, where I'm getting the most engagement from. So that's kind of how I've done my own system. That's been really helpful for me.
Awesome, those are great tips. Quan, would you like to share your daily, weekly, and monthly recommendations of habits people should be doing?
Yeah, so daily, I usually start my day with my whiteboard, and I just kind of write down different things that I'm excited about to do on Instagram or TikTok, something like that. And then I move on to, in terms of weekly, it's watching the numbers per post per week. So let's say I have 5 reels, and on average the reels are getting like 2,000 likes. It's like, okay, I need to continue doing reels, but let's say I did 2 regular videos, right? They may have taken more time. I enjoyed them, but they didn't do as well. I'm like, okay, I got to cut that down, maybe only do 1 of those. Also with the carousel posts, make sure that my workouts are in line with what my programming is like on Trainerize. I feel like one of the biggest thing I'm hearing from new clients that come in is, well, I followed this one trainer because their workouts were like this, but they didn't train me anywhere near like that on their platform. And that's like a big problem. And I'm like, okay, well, everything has to be custom, correct? Everything has to be a certain way. But if they're coming to you for something, make sure you're listening to your clients, especially through social media, because they're the ones that, you're doing this for them, correct? So, and then monthly, pay attention to trends. You might be able to get a quick boost just by, like, let's say kettlebells are hot and you love doing kettlebells, and you're like, okay, let me make sure I can incorporate in there something that I would do with my clients, and I can incorporate into a post. That way you can continue to push to grow more and attain more views or eyes, if you will.
I like that aspect of trends because, as we shift to this like work from home culture, like people are like more interested, like you said, in different things like kettlebell training because they can't go to the gym, but anybody could buy a kettlebell, and that's just it gives you so much more of a dynamic range of the things that you can do. So that's a good tip. Sarah, what about you?
So daily, show up every day. Even if you don't feel like it, just show up. Even just say, like, every morning, I just say good morning. Like, it's such a small thing, but it makes a big difference. People relate to you way more and just feel like they get to know you more. So yeah, show up on even just Instagram stories. And then weekly, I always look at my insights, and if I've had I just kind of set myself a target, and if I've not hit that insights for the week, I think right, what did I do different this week? And I analyze it and make sure that the following week I make some changes if I need to. And then say monthly, I kind of do a review of all my insights again, but a bigger one. And like Quan said as well, have a look at what's kind of trending. So especially in the UK right now, it's just all home workouts, lockdown stuff, you know, stuff like that. So just reanalyzing what the focuses are for the month. But I'm quite like freestyle with it, to be honest. I don't really plan too much. I just make sure that I show up and I'm helping as many people as I can.
Absolutely. That's a good approach to have.
May I add one more thing really quickly? I'm sorry. I
Please.
just want to add one more thing for all the trainers watching. Super quick. Make sure that you are mentally okay. I know it's super hard, especially when you're tracking numbers, looking at trends, looking at other trainers around you. It's hard to get caught up in that, am I good enough? I cannot tell you how many trainers I talk to that I'm friends with that are like, man, maybe I'm just like not as good as him or her, or maybe I don't look a certain way, or maybe I don't have the body, or you feel all these pressures. Guys, it's not that. Don't do that to yourself. I've done that to myself in the past. I know a lot of people have. Just do what makes you happy, and the people who want to work with you will come. I just want to make sure someone said that before we finished, because the mental struggle of being a trainer online is very tough because there's millions of us. So just remember what makes you special.
That's really good advice. I'm happy you added that.
Yeah, and I just want to add as well, sorry,
No.
schedule in some downtime, because I know I said show up every day, but I take a Sunday off Instagram because I need that for me, just that day. I think it's really important for your mindset, for sure, to just have a day where you're not on your phone. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Wait, no, I got you. So like what they're saying is like, I try and make my Instagram, and this is for my mental health as well, 80% business, 20% kind of for me. So obviously we're like scrolling, and as trainers, especially if you want to use your platforms in more of a business way, but still like a fun way, it's good to set those kinds of regulations for yourself too. Cause just like for the mass right now, we're all at home scrolling, and we're like, and it does a lot to appear. So you just have to be kind of like mindful about that, especially again, as an entrepreneur online. So
No, I agree with all of you guys. And even though my job is so media focused at Trainerize, the second that I kind of finish my work obligations, I try to delete Instagram off my phone every day, because there's just so often that you go to your phone to be like, what's the weather going to be like tomorrow? And like you end up in a death scroll. So it's okay to create those healthy boundaries and delete it from your phone if you need to when you're not working, just to give yourself that mental clarity. Like, can't understate that enough. And the final question I want to ask you guys are, what are some what are some don'ts in terms of things not to do on social media that either aren't worth the time, maybe things that aren't obvious, that people think is good to help their growth, but it's kind of just a waste of time, things like that?
I mean, maybe everyone's different, but just don't reach out with a cold pitch and a cold message. That usually never works, and it rubs people the wrong way. I mean, I'm sure everyone's had that happen to them too, and you're like, gross. So that's mine.
That's a good one. Juan, do you have any things to add in terms of don'ts?
Yeah, it's gonna sound like a do, I guess. Be intentional. So, and you mentioned earlier about the pictures. Don't post things that don't have to do with your business if you're not going that route. So when I say pictures, I've had a ton of other trainers. Again, I try to talk to a lot of trainers all the time. Those are mostly what my friends do. They might post something that is a little more risky, right? It gets a ton of likes. Everybody loves this person, but that's not going to convert to sales. Like when you look at your follower base and you look at who follows you for what, if you're trying to be an online trainer and you're trying to make a living doing this, certain types of photos are just going to get you certain types of messages, and I'll just leave that there. And I've noticed that a lot of my friends will have literally 500,000-600,000 followers, but no clients, because people are on their page for different things, and you actually can control what people are on your page for by the type of content you put out. So just be mindful of what you're putting out. I'm not saying what you put out brings in, you deserve messages that are bad. I'm not saying that, but in a world where you can control what's being put out about you, put out things that inspire people to be better, and you'll have no problems.
Yes.
Except some haters, but I mean, we all have those.
Value-based over sexy bod pics.
Thank you. That's all I was trying to say that without saying that, but
nothing wrong with the sexy bod pics, but if you're doing it or if you're trying to get more clients, that's a better strategy.
That's what I'm saying. If you want followers, post sexy away, do your thing, knock it out. But if you want to get these clients up, useful, savable, reusable content all day.
Excellent. Sarah, did you have anything to add with some don'ts?
Yeah, I think like A big one for me is, as my page has grown a lot this year, don't take things personally, because people aren't, not everyone's going to like you, and you have to remember that, because sometimes some of the messages and comments I get, I'm like, whoa. And like they could really affect, like, so bad. Like you put out a helpful video and people just, there's always someone that has something to say. So not taking it personally, you know, block, don't even think about it. And then also as well, like, I guess I see quite a lot of online coaches like putting down other styles of training, and I don't think that's a good thing to do either. I think just focus on what you do. You know, because everyone has their own style, so just focus on you, don't focus on anyone else. Don't, like, something I never do is look at other online coaches' Instagrams, really, because it just, I feel like it makes me waste time. It makes me think, oh, should I be doing that when I know what I'm doing works well? So focus on you, don't take things personally, and don't get distracted. Yeah.
Make sure to check out our other videos on social media and how to build a strong online business. Also, if you're new to training online, you can start your free 30-day trial of Trainerize by clicking on the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.